What's up, y'all? This is Rom back at you with yet another smartphone couch video. Stop calling cap on things you haven't personally experienced. And this was inspired by one of my good supporters, Supra Tread 900, because he reminded me of this story he had told, how some guys had questioned another guy who was talking about a threesome he had, and the guys were like, well, nah, women don't do stuff like that. No, they don't do stuff like that for you. See, a lot of dudes project their own insecurities, their own issues onto everybody else. They think just because they going through something, the whole world is. Indeed, a lot of times, even when you find other people who got similar experiences to you, that still don't mean the whole world. Or it still don't mean this doesn't happen. It just don't happen for you. Because a lot of dudes, quite frankly, they ain't experiencing the game. Like a lot of dudes, like even when talking about women and what women do, I ask a lot of dudes, it's like, well, how many women have you encountered personally? Like really tried to talk to. And if they can give me a number, I know they haven't been out there. Because for any guy, the number should be like limitless if you lived a life. I mean, you had to go to school and you had to work and everything. If you just going home and coming back, or you staying to yourself, you're only going to experience certain things. And just because you haven't experienced that, that means, hey, one, maybe you haven't experienced it yet. Or two, you haven't met somebody who experienced it and shared the experience, but it doesn't mean it's not happening. Because it's a big, big world out here. There's a lot of stuff going on. I was talking with a young lady last night, very good friend, very powerful young lady. And we briefly touched on some of the deeper aspects of the shadow world. There's a lot of stuff going on out here. There's a lot of stuff happening, and everything isn't on the streets or right where you can see it. There's a lot of stuff happening behind closed doors. Like I had mentioned in the area I live in, how there's so many married women who see their men as roommates, their husbands as roommates, and how they open to cheat. In fact, I remember when I first moved to this area, I was thinking, there's swingers around here? Because I was like, wait a minute. You got married women with rings on their finger, awfully friendly. Just overall thing. And you do got some, they actually looked up. There was some swinger clubs when I first moved in this area. But you got so much out there. You got so much going on. But then you got so many guys, they're not going outside. That's why a lot of times I'll ask, or I'll tell guys, I say, look, go outside, go experience it. Get out, And because everybody can so many guys get so stuck into just one world, just their world. Even when we talk about social classes, there's so many things that are happening outside of what their world is. I'll give you a great example, that Pookie and Ray Ray thing, because you got so many guys and they swearing all out, all women want Pookie and Ray Ray. All these women were going after Pookie and Ray Ray. I was like, y'all ain't never been to a bougie party, have you? Oh, shoot. Have you never been to someplace where there's a bunch of professionals? Shoot, your ass you gotta be more on the clean cut side. Shoot, you ain't necessarily leading with your money, but shoot, they be asking, well, where'd you go to school? What you got your degree in? Where's your law practice at? Where's your doctor's practice at? Shoot, some of the biggest players I know, shoot, they got law degrees, MD degrees, and all of that. So apparently, those women aren't chasing Pookie and Ray Ray. But somebody to understand that would have to be in that position. Or that Chad thing. Chads are rare. Yet you get some guys who look nothing like Chad. You be having like multiple children. So it's like multiple girlfriends. Or, you know, just so many things. Or like that height thing. Yeah, women prefer a man taller than them, but shoot, I lost count on a daily basis how many guys who I'm taller than. Like I said, I'm 5'11". I'm going to get into that in a second too. I'm 5'11", and these guys about 5'8" or something. Because my son, my oldest son is like, no, the youngest son is 5'9", and a lot of times if I'm out with him, shoot, a lot of guys be walking around with some, like I say, above average girl or woman, and they are, you know, the above average woman, and then the guy's like shorter than my son, which means he's shorter than 5'9". But see, that's in the real world. Because you be like, well, you know, that's why sometimes I'll even ask. Sometimes somebody say something, I say, what street you from? Where do you live? You don't see this? You know? You don't see this? Or like when I talked about yesterday how women be checking out men. Shoot. Talk with too many women over the decades. They'll let you know. Shoot, sometimes if you're around a group of women, you stay real quiet, they'll say it if they kind of forget you there. And shit, seriously. They'll tell you. If you know some you got like some female friends. Because I got some too many female friends, and they be like, who they be dealing with. In fact, I always said a third of my clients, third of my consultation clients are women. So, you know, they telling me what's up. They got to be straight with me. Women like what they like. Because, first of all, nothing I say, I've had some people that say, oh, yeah, it's theory. No, it's theory for you, motherfucker. I only talk about what I know. If I haven't seen it, I don't talk about it. In fact, I specifically say, if it's something I'm not sure about, I said, I think I need to look into it. But if I don't use the word I think and I speak authoritatively on it, that's because I've witnessed it several times. Like even with that, the type of men that women generally go for who really be getting the pussy out here, that's based on actual dudes. That's dudes I've known, grown up with, hung out with, be on jobs with, seeing what the women going to the storage room with. And shoot, it'd be arranged and stuff. It'd be arranged. It'd be arranged. All I mean, as much as I promote body game and stuff, all these guys ain't perfect. Shoot, some of them be looking a little rough. But that's something I know from experience too. Women get funky. Women get funky with guys who look a little too pretty to them. You gotta have a little roughness to it. Gotta have a little roughness. Some women even call it a little bit of ugly. Just a little, something a little rough about you. Because you looking too pretty. Women be like, oh, shoot, does he even like women? You know? What team is he on? But notice out here interacting with them. You know? The experience. And I told y'all, shit. Like I said, told you, started off, was born in L.A., West L.A., lived in National City, as a child, National City in San Diego. I ain't sure what the area looked like now. Then coming back to D.C. as a child, lived in the Petworth area, and then Anacostia, and then North Michigan Park, hanging out in Riggs, you know, and these all this before gentrification got in there. Shoot, had cousins over there by the shrimp boat. People in D.C. know what I'm talking about. So be over there sometime. Shoot. Then shoot, in Philly. You know, going to school at St. Joe's, living in West Philly. You know, living outside of Baltimore. In our county, I'm in Edgewood. You be seeing everything. To this day. To this day. Shoot. You be seeing how people really be getting down. Because honestly, that's what it come down to. You know, even when people talk about game, it's really just navigating life, man. Life in the real world, man. And just being able to go out, being able to play those just life politics. I call them life politics. But then also sexual politics. You know, it's one thing getting through the world, but then a lot of this is sexual politics when you're out here, because everybody ain't looking for love. Cause there's like a ton of women. Shoot, they just looking for what they can get. Ton of men looking for what they can get, ton of women. In fact, that was one of the earliest things I learned as far as that thing called game. The man's game was to get pussy without spending money. The woman's game was to get money without giving up the pussy. And I've been in different areas and seen that. Because another thing, what I haven't experienced directly, I know people. When people be telling me stuff, people who don't even know what I do for a living, they be like telling me some things. Seriously, people don't know, like a lot of people in this area I interact with have no idea what I do for a living. They'll see me, talk with me, shoot the breeze, be telling me some things, and they don't know. Now, increasingly, I'm getting some people who do know, but I found out yesterday from this powerful brother who works at a local store. He's watching this. Now, that dude thorough. That dude thorough as shit. He was like hipping me. He said, nah, bruh. Some people know about you now, at least at this place. But you start talking with people and you find out, oh, shit. And there's some people got into some shit I haven't even got into, but you start talking with them. And one thing too, let me mention this. Because I remember somebody in the comments saying, well, how you know that person ain't lying to you? I'm going to tell you something now. Anybody who's out in the real world, anybody who's been in a predatory environment, especially if they grew up in a predatory environment, your ass learn how to read people quickly. Because I'll tell anybody straight up, don't think you're going to get over on me. Because it was life or death. Because like living in Anacostia, Southeast D.C., which I've seen some Google pics of it recently. It hadn't really changed that much. And I was like, yeah, it hasn't changed that much. The house I lived in, I was like, it don't look overly different. But shoot, you had to be able to read people. Shoot, you had to stick up kids. You had dudes who be trying to drag little boys and girls into the woods or something. Shoot, you had so much there. At the time, that was when, I don't know how, I think they like scaled down this mental health, this mental institution that was in the area, St. Elizabeth's, but they used to be out, get out during the day or something. So you had to keep your head on the swivel. You had to be able to size somebody up right away. That's why some people who grew up in some rough environments, they can size people up quickly, better than psychologists and stuff. But that's part of it too. You had to do it for survival. You had to know. Like some people commented on my walk. I remember somebody was like, well, can you do a video showing us how to walk like you? I was like, shit, you had to put your ass in a rough-ass neighborhood, bro. With some, like, predators, man. Shit, part of my walk is to keep people off my ass. That's why I be walking like, what's the term for it? Murder walk. But you be going through all of that shit. You be going through all of that shit. That's why even, if I had a detractor or something say, well, you didn't experience that, I asked them just straight up. I was like, okay, tell me what place I lived in this year. Tell me when you were there. All you can say is you haven't experienced that. And I had a couple who just even admit that, say, well, I haven't gone through. Okay, then shut the fuck up and learn. Shoot. That's why I said if before somebody really want to get red pill, true red pill, sell everything you got, move to some city you don't know anybody, and see how long you can survive. If you can survive a year, you'll be really red pill. Because I'm going to tell you what, a lot of stuff that be happening in the real world, in the streets, how somebody might be trying to get over on you on a small way, or then even on a larger way. Shoot, you'll see it right away. Because especially in certain environments. Shoot, really, you can see it on the jobs too. Anything, really. And in fact, somebody had made a comment about how gully they can be in corporate environments. It can be cold-blooded. Like, I remember I was working retail at a local department store, and I remember it was all the fellas. And we were all happened to be in the bathroom. All happened to be in the bathroom, and the general manager of the store was in there. And one of the workers said to the dude, he was like, "You ain't none of our friends, are you?" And the general manager looked at all of us and said, "Hell no. I ain't your friend." We respected that shit, but that's how it can be, man. Because that's why I always say, you know, people need to get out. Because people are people, man. You're going to deal with so many different types. And then once you understand that, but understand where you at, then you can really navigate. Because you can navigate the politics, you can navigate the cutthroats. People going to use you and everything. Because I see like a lot of dudes out here especially really be getting played by some women. See, it cracks me up because even when I did that video last week, talking about how women are way more intelligent than a lot of dudes give them credit for, he still had some guys getting on there. They said, "Oh, no, they airheads and stuff." I said, another dude who's going to get played. Another dude who's going to get played. Shit. I've known too many women. With women like, they staying in some nice place. They got a nice apartment, nice home, some nice clothes, driving a nice car. Not even working. Then they're not even giving up the pussy either. It's like, damn, they got some game. Because they find some mark. Because let's just be real, a lot of men and women out here are really on some mark. They really marks. They really marks. And they believe they get played because they believe the fantasy or some shit, you know? So, you know, it is what it is. But I would say this. Gotta get out here and experience shit. And then when somebody trying to tell you something, here's a general rule. When somebody tells you something or says something, you don't have to believe it totally. Just take it in and just hold on to the information until you can see how it actually applies. You don't have to just say, "Oh, this happened to them. Oh, this automatically happened." Because, you know, some people are going to be lying and all that shit. But as you get more experience and you interacting with people, as you take stuff in, then you confirm it or you know, disprove it or something through your experience, say, "Okay, this couldn't have happened." It gets more powerful. It gets more powerful. So that's the thing. That's the thing. But you got to get out here and live and everything, you know? You got to get out here and live. You got to see it. And if you ain't, like, you know, don't have any shame if you ain't grow up in that rough area or something. Just sit back and learn, you know? Because people going to have different experiences. Like, I'll end with this story. And I told this one before. When I was court-ordered to... I wasn't court-ordered, but I had to give a simple presentation to some true to the game thugs. True to the game, they were court-ordered to be there. And the guy who brought me in, you know, what I was telling him was blowing his mind, but he was more from a more, I'll just say, sheltered background. So I get in here with these straight thugs. They basically gave my book and my presentation right back at me. They handed it right back at me in the sense of, they were basically telling me stuff. I was about to hit something, then they started talking about. I was like, damn, okay, well, that's that presentation. I ain't hitting y'all with anything new. But they were out there, you know? Even the deep stuff. I remember this one dude say, "Hey, Rom, man, you know about sets of 9? Sets of 9? Yeah, sets of 9. And I'm like, what the fuck is sets of 9? And then I think he realized how he was saying. He said sets of 9 from the Tower of Sexology. I was like, "Oh, yes, that's okay." Shit. They were talking about these underground parties. Some of these, a lot of these women be going to. they were hitting on some things, you know. One dude was telling me how he went over this woman's house. He went over this woman's house, parked his car, sat on this hood. Honked his horn, sat on his hood, waited for her to come out, even though there was a dude there. It's like, shit. It is a big old dude. He didn't give a fuck. But that's how you be getting some gully ass shit that way. And if I had to explain what gully means, that means you ain't out there. So anyway, I know somebody gonna get in there and say, "What's gully?" Just real quick. And that's some of the scuzzy shit that be happening down here in the real world. You know, Just some scuzzy shit, low down shit, dirty shit. So, anyway, that's all I have for now. But I would say, like I said, sometimes, you know, don't just because you haven't personally experienced something, don't mean it ain't happening. It's just that ain't your world. It ain't, like I say, ain't no shame in it, but take it in, hold on to it until you can verify it. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. It might be years before you do, but it just means you ain't experiencing billions of people in the world. Everybody, there's going to be some shit that's, you know, according to what people call, and you know, they think is the norm, but that's just the surface. Shit, a lot of stuff be happening. A lot of shit be happening. A lot of shit, I'm gonna tell you what, even on these YouTube pages, it's just the surface. It really is. It really is. It's just the surface. You know? So anyway, though, that's all I got for now, y'all. Get back with y'all. Yeah, I'm doing it here because I'm walking up to my gym. I don't want to be holding this up like walking and shit. It's like, whatever. So anyway, I get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.